Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me for the next edition of our podcast. Today, I have with me George Cox, who is the tech lead for our customer service excellence and customer experience consultancy services. And we thought it'd be interesting to talk about the state of digital transformation in financial services, based on a Forrester report that outlines a lot of their findings of what the financial services sector is going through. In context, COVID 19 has accelerated the digital transformation efforts in this sector, mostly because consumers have gone from having a face-to-face first approach to having a digital first approach. And that has presented many challenges, both from an operational perspective, but also from a technology perspective, and what that means in terms of keeping up with the demand for better technology and also the demands from customers as consumers, right? So we're going to be looking at three aspects of the report. The first one being how, in terms of what is driving digital transformation, um, operational efficiency has become the top driver to push these transformation programs forward. What does that mean in practice, right? So, George, can you tell us about, when we go to a customer and we're talking about, and they are asking us, what are the areas where they can drive operational efficiency? What things are we seeing? Like, can you give us some examples, please?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're noticing these types of questions for driving efficiency. I would say most traditionally in the financial industry, where we want to provide staff or the businesses in the organization the correct data at the correct time. For an example, as you were mentioning before, pre-COVID, there was a tradition, especially within the financial industry, that customers would be passed between teams, between areas of the business, and their information or their topic of their case would not be passed with them. So customers will be repeating themselves, going through security checks once again within the same organization. So what we're finding is we're utilizing or leveraging the data that our businesses have and providing that knowledge to the users at the correct time, meaning that the customer's more satisfied, it engages them at a continuous level across the business, and it means that the agents don't have to repeat themselves and continuously search for the information that should be available for them.
How about, is machine learning playing a role in operational efficiency?
On the secondly, off the bat of that, I suppose we're finding that automation and machine learning is becoming a real key within that. And what we're finding is that automation, in terms of routing and assigning cases to the correct team, to the correct person, is seeing a huge increase in first time resolution. A lot of companies now have high KPIs on customers being serviced correctly and at the correct time, but also serviced within one touch. Customers are finding themselves self serving a lot more, finding themselves solving a lot more of the simple cases. But when they do need to speak to a supervisor or a support staff, they want their support request resolved as quickly as possible. So providing them with their information or routing it to the skilled person that can solve that, we're finding a high uptake in that as well.
So, what is it that technology is able to do in that regard? The technology products, what are they able to solve?
Products such as, I suppose, Zendesk, as a key product that we're working with the partners, is having the technology available that can integrate information from outside of Zendesk, for example, having open APIs, having an interface that's interactive, allowing agents to take ownership for customers' data, and recognizing that sometimes the golden source of truth needs to sit outside of Zendesk. And how do we have an approach for that and leverage the tools and the data that we have for that as well?
Yeah, it's interesting because the report talks a lot about how um, AI has become one of the focuses or the areas of technology innovation with at top of the agenda. AI and machine learning, along with the Internet of Things, serverless computing, blockchain, right? But AI has been known as this very amazing technology that is very far, far away in the future. But we're actually seeing that being in practice implemented in some of our customers. Um, to habilitate operational efficiency, to be to optimize processes, but also to deliver higher levels of effectiveness, right? What are we seeing in terms of demand? How is this being implemented in the form of what?
Hmm. Absolutely. And as you just mentioned, I think the term AI, machine learning, automated response, bots, answer bots were things that used to scare not only consumers, but also businesses. The conceptual, everybody had what we thought the conceptual understanding of what that was. And we're now noticing this concept being productorized, and we're actually seeing it standardized and a lot more available to companies to utilize at their fingertips. And what we're seeing is that it comes within two areas. There's self-service, so customers can first of all find an answer they should be able to serve themselves. And secondly, we're finding systems naturally now have the capabilities and the language processing to recognize trends and themes of their customers' requests, and therefore recommend articles that can be created off the back of that. So, for example, if we're noticing trends within a certain topic, instead of waiting for somebody manually having to go and find out that people are talking about that, companies such as Zendesk are utilizing the AI framework within it and then suggesting to team leaders and managers, we suggest creating an article related to this topic, and it helps companies be a lot more proactive. And we're also finding secondly on that is that it's helping increase uh, support staff or organizations' capacity at times of high demand. So it means that customers such as VIP customers, high demand customers, high net worth customers, they have the ability to be routed to the correct person, and they can be treated first and foremost compared to someone that may have a bit more trivial question, which hopefully can be self-served by themselves.
Yeah, I guess the beauty of having this technology at hand is that the organizations become more elastic when it comes to uh, servicing, markets at high moments, or moments where higher capacity is required or where there's high demand. We find that um, uh, this is in line with the report from Forrester as well. There's three core challenges that organizations are facing when um, they address transformation projects. One is having a clear technology strategy. The second one is having a clear data strategy, where data can flow seamlessly throughout the organization, delivering value onto every stakeholder and every actor, function, and role in the business. But one that I think is often underestimated, that we are seeing more and more demand for, is security. When it comes down to protecting customers' data, uh, customers, whether they are B2C or B2B, they are extremely zealous on how their data is treated. So there is this trend of zero tolerance for data security failure. Um, what are your comments on that, George? What have you been able to see in terms of conversations with customers?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're noticing the security trend, especially within the fintech environment, increasing because these types of companies are growing at such rapid pace that something that may have worked weeks or months or years ago is quickly not able to scale with them by utilizing tools such as Zendesk, Salesforce, and those sort of tools. But specifically related to security, utilizing systems such as Excel, Word documents, we're quickly realizing that actually not having that understanding both at the lower level, so the support staff, the account managers, and then all the way through to senior staff and directors, we want them to have an understanding of how important it is to structure customers' data and keep it secure. So utilizing the toolkit that's offered by companies such as Zendesk and Salesforce, as we mentioned, allows us to leverage that and create that common understanding of how important it is to create such a process and agreement and making sure that everybody appreciates the importance of both customer and company's data.
Yeah, I think it's definitely not a problem with the technology products. Like you said, Salesforce, or for instance, Sugar CRM, they have very comprehensive models for protecting the customer's data. I think the challenge comes uh, more around the employee's ability to devote the right time to learning the importance and then executing at an operational level, um, the safeguarding of that data, right? So the interesting thing about digital transformation is that it also has a strong human component where adoption needs to be driven from a technology strategy perspective, security is a lot about how people and organizations use technology. I thought it was also quite interesting to see in the report that security and privacy was seen as one of the top capabilities that organizations need to develop, because even though they have put a lot of focus on at an operational level to be more efficient, data security has also been left behind and is the one where organizations need to catch up the most, right? So um, for people viewing this webcast, we're going to be talking more about this subject in a series of webinars. So you can follow us for that. And also, please go on to our blog. We are actually publishing some of the content for these reports. I think the findings for financial services are very interesting. And obviously, we're here to help you in anything. Thank you very much, George. It was very helpful. Hopefully,
Thanks for having me.
short and painless. Um, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.